You're listening to the smartest guys in marketing, the best show on the planet for client businesses to learn about traffic, funnels, sales, conversions, and marketing coolness. Chris and Taylor are the founders of Traffic and Funnels, a digital marketing consultancy helping you get paid clients from cold traffic daily. Now, here are your hosts, Chris and Taylor.
What's up, y'all? What up? Oh, man. So before we hit record, I said, Chris, I need you to have a little bit more energy, okay? I need you to bring it. He just yelled, like, dude, you're going to get evicted from your office.
Let's go, people!
You're probably going to get, like, knocked on your door, and they're going to tell you to be quiet.
My neighbors already hate me.
This is the smartest guys in marketing podcast where we're not racist and we believe in equal opportunity for all people. Well, I do.
I definitely
and today we're talking about, I want you to lean in. If you're listening on AirPods, I want you to lean to the left or the right. If you're listening in your car, I want you to lean forward. I want you to attune your senses. So we're talking about control versus cash.
Ooh.
This implies that control and cash are on the opposite ends of the spectrum, diametrically opposed, which is not actually true. But there are times in your business when you're going to sacrifice control to create a little extra cash. You're going to sacrifice a little cash to create a little extra control. They are mediums and levers that you can push and pull as you so choose. I just feel like
Did your voice just crack?
We just need to have a little victory dance right now.
Do it. You do it first.
You've been traveling. I've been traveling. We've been all over the freaking continent. And we've been working on, I think I can tell people we're launching a YouTube show.
Yep.
And it's actually like nothing you've ever seen before in your entire life. It's 90% like Chris getting into fights with people on the side of the street and like 10% just marketing gold. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you want to hop on the list to get notified about that, just going off the beaten path right now.
Wow, you are really going off script.
Trafficandfunnels.com/YouTube. If you don't know how to spell YouTube, it's YOUTUBE. Trafficandfunnels.com/YouTube. We'll add you to the list because we're launching this here in a couple weeks. It's going to be freaking amazing. But back to control versus cash. Sorry. Just had to get that out there.
Yeah. No, well, I think people should answer this question. Would you rather have cash or would you rather have control?
Both.
So here's the thing. Like we've had an intense several months recently.
Yeah.
Like I bought a house, you bought a house, I sold a house. Like you have grass that you're trying to water and it's not working out for you. You have blisters on your hands.
All the grass is literally is dying. I'm Googling like how to keep grass alive and reading for hours. It's awful.
And you get to this place where you're just asking yourself, why am I still alive? Like my problems are so awful. But seriously, like we're at a place where we're doing very well financially. But we've grown so quickly that we've had to hire a lot of people. And it used to be when we first started the business, it was just Taylor and I.
Yeah.
We did everything in the business. And so we felt like we had 100% complete control. And that feels really good. And if you're an entrepreneur, I know that you know what this feels like, right? You know what it feels like and how awful it is to not feel control in your business, right? And that could like mean you're not controlling your money, your revenue, where your business is going.
Your time.
Yeah. So we've been at this place where we've been making a lot of revenue, but I don't know about you, Taylor, but for me, I've just felt disconnected and out of control.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't had control of my business.
Case in point.
It's a weird thing.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just going to say, it's a really bizarre thing because okay, we have a $5 million plus year business, but I almost feel more sucky now than when we had a $250,000 a month business where I felt total control, doing things that I love in the business.
Yeah.
So stuff that we're having to sort through.
Yeah. I was going to say case in point, like, by the time this is released, I don't know where we are because we don't we're not organized like we should be with this, but Last month, you remember last month, it was like, man, this is the worst month in our business.
Yep.
We both had those talks. It was like, this is the worst month I've ever had. I think this is the worst month of my life. This is like the worst month that I can ever remember in business. And we got to the end of the month, and it was our second best month in terms of revenue. Second best out of 2.5 years. And so it's like, just contrasts like this idea that the feeling you have about what you have is almost more important than what you have. The feeling you have about what you have is almost more important than what you have. So when, like an athlete, like that feeling of winning is more addicting than the winning itself. Yeah. And it's important for you to know how to engineer the feeling of control, the feeling of success, the feeling of progress. Because if not, what'll happen is you'll be pushing, and you'll have all this progress and you'll have this momentum, but you won't feel like it, and you'll just burn out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think when you're too close to, quote, the problem, because we had things go wrong. We just had issues. And, you get to a place where you're emotionally compromised. That's what I say about my kids when they're like in a fit and they're just like turnt. Like you're emotionally compromised. And then when you're in that place, you make stupid decisions. Yeah. So you have to identify where you're at in your business, and you have to be able to like pull back and like back up from whatever the issues are that you're having in your business, and look at the data, look at the numbers. And then one thing that's just worked for us is obviously we have each other in our business. So like days when I'm down and I just want to jump out of my window, I've got Taylor say, no, it's all good. No, this is actually, back in. Yeah, pulling me back in, saving me. This is the actual number. This is the actual data. This is what's actually happening. Even though, you feel like you're in just turmoil, having the right people around you and looking at what is actually going on. And if you don't have that, then obviously you're up the creek. Like it's going to be hard for you to ever get ahead. That's a major, major thing for us to be able to back out and say, okay, well, our, life is actually good. And these are the things that I need to fix so I don't feel like this going forward next month, to avoid that situation. So want to hit the first point?
Yeah, I actually want to change the first point.
Okay.
On the fly.
Just do it, bro.
That's how we do.
I believe in you.
Like one of the biggest things for entrepreneurs that we get stuck in, and I know that you get stuck in as well, is being able to properly identify where you are in relativity to where you want to go and where you've been. And most of us spend our entire lives comparing ourselves to where we want to go. But the problem is that beacon is always moving.
Yeah.
Remember when we were doing 150 grand a month and we looked at other people who are doing 350 grand a month. We were like, oh my God, if I could do 350 a month, that would change everything in my life. That's all I want. I just want 350 grand in a month. And now, we've had months where we've come close to double that, but the beacon has changed. It's been pushed out further. The thing we're pushing towards has changed. And one of the things that we did a Facebook Live last Friday teaching some of our clients is you have to have moments that are strategically placed in your week to where you can stop looking ahead and you can instead turn around and look behind. Because it's not enough to know where you are relative to where you want to go. You also have to have the counterbalance of knowing where you are relative to where you've come from.
Yeah.
And we got to do that more often as well.
Yeah.
Because when we do $500,000 in a month, we did, a little bit more than that last month. We're freaking out. We're thinking we're freaking poor. We're gonna have to sell everything. Like, dude, that's so stupid. And it's because we're just comparing ourselves to the version of ourselves. We want to do 2 million a month, but we're not looking behind us and saying, here's where we were last year. Here's where we were 6 months ago, and really getting a proper perspective of where we are in the whole sequence.
Right. Yeah. So, dude, that's great. And I'd say like a way that we practically do that is reflecting on those past wins and going back and looking at old journals when we couldn't pay our bills and life like truly sucked. And that was a whole different level of stress, So yeah.
So the app that we use that I taught Chris about is Day One.
Hey, in case you guys that know this, Taylor taught everybody about everything.
That's not
Nobody
true.
has heard of an app or book or podcast before Taylor. Just want to make sure that you guys know that.
There are a couple things that Chris has gotten first,
Like puberty.
but we just don't remember. Like it's so rare that we can't
Manhood.
remember it. All right. Anyways, next.
Oh, that was funny,
kinda
bro.
knowing your seasons, knowing where you are, and keeping the perspective correct.
Yeah. Can we hit that real quick?
Yes.
And I think some of this stuff is like, if you don't know the season that you're in life, you know, there can be self-sabotage. So you guys know that like we've recently bought houses. And with that comes a lot.
You tell them every episode, bro.
I just want you to know how successful we are.
I just bought a house. Next episode. You guys know I just bought a house.
So like we're doing at my house, like we're doing a lot of rehab stuff, and it's just a lot of moving parts. The house I just bought, a lot of moving parts. And in case you guys didn't know, I also sold a house.
Which that was the house that you bought before the house you just bought.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
you know, we're like in this place where we have that going on, and there's a lot of moving parts with that. We've hired several people in the last several months. So we have all these things that are going on. Plus we're trying to hit new highs. What are you laughing about?
I don't think people understand, like, Chris didn't just like do a new kitchen. He ripped out a part of his house.
Yeah.
I just was over there and there were like nails on the ground. I had to wear a hard hat to get to the bedroom. You're in a freaking war zone right now.
Oh, crap.
Bro, it's like you're putting in a brand new kitchen.
Yeah.
Crazy. I see you.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's a ripple effect to that stuff.
Right.
And what we should have done is like just pause and say, okay, like we're in this season of moving and a lot of transition. Like, what do we do to make sure we're healthy and we don't go negative emotionally and in our lives with our families and all this kind of stuff? And not necessarily, like, it wasn't probably the best season to just push, hire a bunch of new people and go balls to the wall. And so recognizing the season that you're in life and business will give you the correct, I think, a method to blueprint what you need to do to just stay where you are to where, you know, you can actually be healthy and not want to jump out of your office window.
So good, bro. Dude, what you just said about an emotional bank account is like one of the best things you ever said. Because
Thanks, man.
when your emotional bank account goes negative, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't really matter. Nothing else really matters, because you as a person, like, the primitive goal is for you to be healthy as a person and be able to take care of the things in your life that don't have anything to do with business. And we say this all the time, but sometimes we have to remind ourselves, like, there's no success in business that justifies, you know, the obliteration of things outside of business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, success in business is not worth, you know, costing you your marriage, costing you time with your family. It's not worth you feeling like a failure every time you go home and go to bed. Business is one component. Money is one component. It's not the whole, you know?
Yeah.
So emotional regulation, we just talked about that in the memos, because that's something we've had to learn how to do and put into practice over the last 3 months, is really regulating, monitoring our emotions and making sure that, you know, we don't get to where we're doing 20 million a year, but literally we're like taking cocaine every 30 minutes and like smoking weed because we can't do it anymore. You know?
Yeah.
It's got to be a build-up. It's got to be healthy.
Ooh. It's getting intense.
You said it, bro.
Yeah. You know, one thing though is like I'm not really good at recognizing that in the moment. I'm not as good as Taylor is. You want to dive into that a little bit more, bro? I feel like you had something to add to that.
No, this is the beauty of this is the beauty of having people in your life that you really trust that can call you out on stuff and dude, just the other day, we got in a Zoom and Chris said, "Hey, you did this, and I don't think you should have done that." I'm like, okay, Chris is one of those people that's in my life that I trust on a business standpoint and on kind of like, you know, just a personal standpoint, that he can call me out. And the people who don't have these people, you see them, they're an overnight success. They're up one day and they're down the next. And I do the same thing for you, because, you know, we are polar opposites in kind of how we manage our emotions. I'm very like I would say volatile, but I'm also pretty aware. Whereas Chris is stable, steady as she goes. But dude, when that nuke explodes, people die. Like that's like Chris.
You make it sound like I like murder people.
Whereas like every couple of days, like I'm gonna have someone. I don't like this. I don't like this. This is not what I like. Whereas probably once every 2 months, if you allow yourself to get up and get that build up, it's like, dude, I don't like how you did this 6 months ago. And I don't like how you talked to me this way 8 months ago. And 4 years ago, you said this and we never dealt with it. And it's like, whoa, it's not really that bad, but sort of.
Man, we're really opening the book here for people.
Yeah. Someone said in our Smartest Guys, like Taylor and Chris, are the most authentic marketers and business owners I've ever found. And here you're seeing why. Sharing all of the dirty secrets.
Oh man. Anything else to add?
Yeah, just control versus cash. Like understand that. I think that just go tactical so we can end this with people actually on a good note rather than them having to go get therapy from listening to us. I think that there are seasons in your life where the goal should be control, and there are seasons in your business life where the goal should be growing, scaling, cash.
Great point.
You probably need to switch it up every quarter or so, because like right now our focus is control. It's really not cash. We want to do the same amount of revenue this month that we did last month, next month that we do this month. We want to just keep it the same. But our goal on the inside is to create control and to kind of lean out and get control over it. Whereas we hop into next year, the emphasis is going to switch and it's going to be back on cash and scaling. Yeah. And we're going to sacrifice some control to do that. And then the second quarter next year, boom, cash needs to be locked. It's going to be the same every month. And we're going to build systems around the scale that we just did.
Beautiful. Yeah. Cash is going to give you the ability to get control. So typically that's where you're going to focus on first. If you're wondering like, where am I at? Like, if you don't have cash, you're definitely not going to have control.
Yeah, true.
So like we were telling the story yesterday to our clients, there's a point where we worked 7 days a week when we started Traffic and Funnels, and we were working a lot of hours, and we had to go out and get cash flow. And so we focused on that first. We built that really quickly, and then that gave us the ability to have control because we had some leeway. We had margin at that point, and that's massive, massive. So unless you have anything else, bro, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this.
I just think you just nailed this episode.
You too, man.
Like, dude, if you made your own memo, I would buy it.
I've been thinking about that. We'll talk about that after.
But you got to call it minnows.
Minnows. Speaking of the minnows, go get the memos. trafficandfunnels.com/memos. It is a rave hit. People love it. It's where we go into detail. We break down a lot about our business mistakes, wins, and we send it to you in the mail, the actual mail, physical mail, every single month. And it's only $7 a month.
Yeah, let me just read something that someone messaged in a little bit ago about the memos. They go, This is a prominent marketer. It's a prominent marketer. He's linked up with a lot of other marketers. You would know this person. So he messaged us a picture of the memos, and he said, "This is bullshit. Just got my, quote, notes or memos or whatever you call these things. These are far too organized and well thought out to be a simple memo. I am not happy about this. I don't like it when people underpromise and over-deliver. It's supposed to be overpromise and under-deliver. You should charge more for these. WTF." There you have it. There you have it.
Scamming people every day.
Very, very good. That's a wrap.
Go get it. See you guys.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.